I am so fucking excited today because three of the funniest human beings I've ever seen in my entire life, you didn't pay me to say that, are on the show today. Trey Crowder, Brent Terhune, and Steve Hofstetter. Thank you for joining me and welcome, guys.
So asking three white guys to talk as if there's not a woman in the room is not very left of you. I mean, that's...
Well, I'm glad Trey's here because before Trey got here, Trey, you didn't know this, but I was the blonde between two gingers, and it was
yeah,
fantasy that I didn't know I had. So thank you for being here.
At first, I thought you were saying you're glad that I'm here because at least it's like, two white guys and one white trash guy, and that's like kind of different,
Let me speak enough. You might change your tone on the white trash thing of me. So,
But yeah, no, I was going to say it's just, what a savvy concept you've come up with. Like you said, you just like get people to show up at the same time, and then you're just going to sit there and just let them do everything. It's like you're like the DJ Khaled of leftist politics podcasting, which I mean, hey,
Yeah.
it's a good show.
I don't know if you've heard the theme song, but when it starts, she just yells, "JoJo from Jers," and then she doesn't say anything for the rest
we
of the
the
show.
best, man.
Yeah.
You just make me laugh. So I'll just be here watching, being entertained. No, we were just talking about Trump not being dead. Have you guys caught any of RFK Jr.'s testimony today on Capitol Hill and his Darth Vader breathing? Freaked me the fuck out.
I did see that one of his aides was like, "Shut off your mic, you're scaring people." Like, that was incredible.
No, I
Is he
didn't.
very pug-like? What's going on?
Yeah, what's he talking about?
Yeah, he's Brent. The term for those brachycephalic is the politically correct term.
I'm gonna go with pug.
Is brachycephalic? Does that just mean like the flat face? A dog with a flat face?
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the flat-faced dogs. Yeah.
The affronts to God that humanity is bastardized through selective breeding because how much we love cuteness and care not for biological practicality.
Yeah, I would describe RFK
I can't
as
say
that.
It, yeah.
It sounds like something from Mary Poppins.
I thought it was going to be like a dinosaur thing, like that. Yeah, the brachycephalic period.
You can't say you nailed that, Brent. That was
what? Say it again.
Brachycephalic.
You just
got
brachycephalic. Mm-hmm. There we go.
Why phallic?
Phallic? Yeah, I'd say phallic is another thing. I thought.
Wouldn't it be fun if I was just making this up?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you did, I mean, you nailed it. If you did.
Seriously. Yeah, no, he was just talking about how he fired the head of the CDC because he asked her if she could be trusted, and she said no. Why he fired her? That's totally. I'm sure.
But if she said no and she can't be trusted, that means she can be trusted. It's a paradox.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. The first thing that pops into my head is in what context, meaning like, can you be trusted to do the right thing? Like meaning do what we want you to do in terms of
can you be trusted to lie?
Yeah, right. Can you be trusted to do what we determine is best? And if she was like, no, I won't do that, then that means she has integrity because she generally can be trusted. But but he's not going to couch it that way.
Well, that's a fireable offense for sure.
Yeah, having integrity. Yeah, normally they don't let those people through the door. They find them in the screening process.
But he's the crown jewel of the cabinet. That's what Stephen Miller said.
Yeah. So I've never told this story publicly before.
Good boy.
But way before I knew who or what RFK Jr. really was, I got asked to work on his campaign. So this is absolutely true. I still have the receipts. So a friend of mine was friends with him, and this was like early COVID, and saying that and this is when we believed that Joe Biden was not going to run for a second term.
Right.
And said RFK Jr. is considering running for president. I know you're good with social media. Would you be interested in helping with the campaign? And I was like, oh, well, that's cool. Thinking that he had anything to do with his dad, thinking that his dad, I don't know if it would be like genetics or maybe learning something from his father.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked him up and I was like, hey, he's scary anti-science and anti-vax. And I'm uncomfortable with this. And my friend was like, no, a lot of what he said is taken out of context. That's not really him. And then I just showed I just linked to a video of him saying horrible things. And I was like, we're going to either have to stop talking about this or we're going to have to stop being friends. Like, this is not a thing that I can do.
Mm.
And I should have said yes and then just tanked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they ended up tanking it pretty well, themselves.
Yeah, but I should have tanked it while making him also virulently anti-Trump.
Right.
Should
Yeah.
have gone both ways with it.
Do you
Yeah.
remember his like launch, like this stage thing where I think that there was no audio or something? The whole thing was like straight out of Veep. It was a disaster for when he announced that he was running for president. I mean, it like the whole. It's just I can't wrap my head around the fact that he is honestly in charge of our entire country's health right now. Like it's fucking insane.
Yeah, I'm touring currently in Canada, and there's a joke in my set where I reference RFK, but not even by name. I just reference him as the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and it gets an applause break in Canada. And the idea
Right.
that Canada knows who our Secretary of Health and Human Services is,
Right. Bananas.
like, yeah, there's no good reason for them to know that. There's never like oh yeah, well, we know that cabinet position because they're doing a great job.
Yeah. I don't think
I
I've known
disag-
who our Secretary of Human Services is
Yeah.
half the time.
I disagree with everything he says except for working out in jeans. I'm pro working out in jeans.
I'm particularly against swimming in sewage water.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, some of it, like, whatever. There probably are too much processed foods and that type of thing. But like people, like I thought that one clip of someone who I assume is a huge fan of his that went like viral of that mom rinsing all the dye off of the bag of Skittles before she gave it to her toddlers or whatever. You see that? Like she took a bag of Skittles
No.
and rinsed all the dye off of it, all the color off of it. So it's just white, spheres, or obloids, whatever the word is for that. They're not exact spheres. It doesn't matter. That part's irrelevant. We don't have to get into geometry. But then
Skittle
she
brackets.
then she gives it.
Yeah.
Then she gives the bag to her like toddlers after that, and it's just like, the idea that the dye is the worst part of a bag of Skittles for two toddlers. Like the person who would be like, this is unacceptable that there's these colors on the outside of it, but all the sugar and concentrated diabetes and stuff is fine, and all the things gonna rot their teeth. Like it's just, I just feel like that's kind of a snapshot of his whole thing. This like he's got a lot of like sizzle with a lot of shit, for a lot of people that like seems to make sense, like superficial when it comes to that type of thing, like less processed stuff and dyes are bad and all this stuff. But then, but it's far outweighed by all the crazy shit that's happening at the same time, like with regulations being rolled back and stuff like that. Gonna make everything less healthy.
Trey, I agree with you, but I mean, you got to figure that she's just very excited that she was able to make them all white.
White. Yep. There it is.
Yeah.
The colors
She's like,
don't run
now they're
except for on the Skittles.
Yeah, she's like, now they're covered in white powder,
Mhm.
and that's so close to her favorite thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what Alabama did with barbecue sauce. But I do, and I've always thought that was why. But it's but I full disclosure, I do like Alabama white barbecue sauce. But still, yeah, it was always funny to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just the idea that, like, look, there are a lot of things wrong with our food. There are tons of things wrong with our food. But if you want to start fixing them, start with factory farming.
Right.
Like, if you want to start fixing them, get us to a place where wheat exists that we can process normally. Get us to a place where, dairy isn't poison. Like, get us to a place where the essentials are healthy again.
Mhm.
And then from there, maybe you can start with snacks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And soda, because Coca-Cola, of course, has to be made with cane sugar. That was another hill that they had to die on. And remember that picture of him sitting on Air Force back then? I think it was Trump Force One with all the fast food, and it's like
Yeah.
a Big Mac in front of him. And the guy goes to tanning salons. You know what I mean? Like it's like you said, it's a little bit of sizzle and a whole lot of bullshit.
Well, it's the same people who refuse to take the vaccine because they don't know what's in it, and then
Right.
and meanwhile, every part of their body is made of plastic. Like that, they've got that Mar-a-Lago face where just everything is pulled back, everything is artificial. Like there's very little flesh left in them,
Yeah.
and at the same time, they're terrified of a vaccine.
Right. Some of these, sort of like, I guess, Rogan bro type dudes that are in that lane, but, drink Alpha Brain and shoot steroids in their ass and all this stuff. Or there was like a lot of those people. There was apparently I don't even know some conference in Vegas for these types of people exactly. And two ladies at it got injected with peptides at a tent or whatever, because like peptides are supposed to be good, I guess. But then they both had to go to the hospital after that. And it's like I guarantee you they're both unvaccinated too, because it's like nobody knows what's in that. And it's like, you don't know when all that first was happening, the video I made at the time, it's like not even just like Botox and plastic surgery and steroids and all that. But I was like, y'all don't know what's in anything. Like, you don't know what's in Mr. Pibb, like fucking, you have no idea. The idea that it's important to these people, or most people really, to only put things in your body that you fully understand how it works or whatever is funny to me, because, who does? Very few people do, I mean, I don't either, but I just like, when it comes to like medical shit, I trust the doctors and the processes that have been built up over time to result in those things, and go from there.
There's a reason you take your car to a mechanic, because you don't understand
Right.
what the process is. So, yeah, if I was like, I don't know what's in that, don't put that in my car. Now it runs like shit. You'd be like, well, yeah, of course.
Brent, that's what Big Jiffy wants you to think.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's right.
My favorite, you guys are both road comics. Like, my favorite was overhearing two people talk about, I don't know what's in the vaccine, while eating hotel breakfast. And I was like, you are eating something called an egg that is so obviously not an egg.
Yeah.
Like,
that 8 people have touched
in
in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah. It's disgusting.
It is disgusting, but when we go to Ohio every Thanksgiving, and one of the things that my kids look forward to is the hotel breakfast, and I don't know what happens to them. Like, they get there and they need the pancake that comes on the conveyor belt, and they need all the carbs. They need like 5 muffins, a bowl of cereal. Like, anybody want a banana? Like, there's one like actual item of fresh food in this whole buffet, and they're like, no, I just give me the colors of the rainbow of all the carbohydrates and starch that are here. It's
So what hotel are you staying at where the banana isn't the colors of the rainbow?
true. Yeah, that's very true. It's fancy. I can't tell you.
Fair.
I can't disclose it.
For safety
Second
reasons. I was like,
third best Western, I would say.
every hotel breakfast, the bananas are either bright green or dark brown, or both. But they're never the hue they're supposed to be.
I don't think, because no one touches them, so they just sit there the entire time. What, like, when you guys are out there on the road, like, what are people saying right now in terms of like their responses to your sets, their responses to all of this, whether you're here in the States or in Canada or elsewhere? Like, obviously we need to laugh right now, but are people just like, this is not funny, or you know what I mean? Like, what kind of stuff feedback are you getting right now?
Well, in Canada, they hate Trump so much that even Quebec is like, we're Canadian for now. Like, it took Trump to make Quebec not want to secede, like, and actually fly a flag. I think people like it's hard to know though, because like I'm playing to my crowd,
right?
And so like they're agreeing with me,
right?
And then when I'm in a truck stop in between shows, I keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. So I mean, same for me too. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, it's it's my audience, so they're on board, and they're generally like, at first, like, I was worried like right after the election and everything. I was like, just knowing my audience and shit, I was like, are people going to be like too depressed to even come out to this or want to do this? Like, and not, but people still showed up, and then that was a sentiment I would get a lot of. People would be like, I didn't even know if I, would feel like laughing, but this was actually a nice, respite or whatever. So like that's the general sense, and they're all pretty freaked out and pissed off and upset and all of those things that you would expect. But yeah, it's like Steve said, as far as, because it's like that's also, I feel like a lot of time. I mean, with us, it would be even more disingenuous. But even with, I feel like most comedians, I think, when they talk about like being out there in America all the time and knowing what, really having their finger on the pulse and stuff, it's like a lot of comics are not, they're like hotel, club, green room, hang out with the staff, whatever, back to hotel, airport, stuff like that. They're not like, I don't know, going to doing volunteer work at a shelter downtown or fucking doing other stuff. They're not like engaging with the community in all these different places. But for us, it's like even more pronounced because, we have just a specific demographic showing up in the first place. So,
I was in Branson like a month ago, and that was I was doing the shows, and I know they're not coming to see Brent Terhune, the guy who does satire videos. They're coming because there's a show.
Right. Right.
And in Branson, they have 2 Trump stores and 1 Jesus store. So we can see priorities. And I've not posted the videos, but I went to each one of them. And man, the good Trump store is a good Trump store because there's, a wrapped F-850 out front. And like you could just like I left and the guy was like, "Go Trump" or whatever, because I'm a MAGA passing.
Oh, for
so
sure.
I could
Yes,
run in
absolutely.
those circles,
Yeah.
And I was, of course I was in there for the wrong reasons, but they had a Donald Trump on a throne on the porch. That's how you walk into this place. And on the pictures on the porch on Google said FJB. But of course, I went after, so it was Donald J. Trump on the front. But there's no lack of shirts and hats. They even had custom-made helmets for like construction workers.
If there's ever a group of people who need helmets,
yeah.
What about the bad Trump store? Like,
it was still pretty good.
It actually traded, just sold tacos. It was weird.
Yeah. They had a General Lee parked out front.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of T-shirts. And I love a town where you can get a T-shirt that says the name of the place you're currently at. So, but it was a lot of like the guy was literally printing shirts for people in house. They were like, I want this one and I want that one. And there was like in the case, there was like a Trump $1,000 bill with his face on it. And I took videos. I haven't posted any of it yet, but yeah, it was a lot of shirts and like half. Oh, and there was like a Confederate flag corner of the store too.
Yeah.
So that was great.
That
and
was
then
probably
the Jesus
left
store
over from the conversion, I feel like they used to specialize in that probably.
Yeah.
And then the Trump stuff became more and more the moneymaker, but they couldn't, totally abandon their Confederate roots. So now they just have Confederate corner in the back, just in case any of their old regulars.
Was,
yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, also once Trump does pass, I mean, they're going to have to move on, and there's only so much they can sell from JD Vance being from the mountains of Cincinnati.
Because I got concerned about my good Trump store guy. I was like, if he's dead over the weekend, what's this guy going to do? Because literally, there's not a thing in the store that doesn't have that guy's face on it.
Right.
They're not going to be selling, like, that's the thing. Like, nobody's going to be flying JD Vance's flag. It's like it's like flying a Ted Cruz flag. Like, there's not going to be a JD Vance corner of any good store.
Well, that is, I mean, I wonder what all you guys think about that idea that, like, or maybe the hope that, whenever he finally is gone in whatever capacity, that there isn't someone who can adequately fill that hole, that like Trump is kind of one of one and his insane appeal to these particular people, that like you can't coach that like
substitute teacher.
Right. So, but then that, how's that? Is that person ever? Can that person emerge? Will that person emerge? Obviously, I hope not. But if they don't, then what? Then does it actually start to dissipate or get better without that person at the top? Or
No, when it comes to being a con man, he's a generational talent.
right.
Like when it comes to like leading a cult of losers,
Right.
he is a generational talent. Like I give it to him on that. And I've long had a theory that the reason, as bad as things are getting, the thing that's going to stop it is these people are so greedy and so self-interested. I mean, the other people at the top,
Yeah.
that eventually their interests are going to butt heads. That's what happened with Elon Musk.
Right.
And so I do think that someone like Trump can seemingly control that cultish thing. And JD Vance can't even order a donut without looking like an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think that, when Trump goes, and people are talking about like, oh, and then Donald Trump Jr. Be like, no,
Right.
absolutely not. He can't stay sober for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like there's absolutely no way. And so I
Donald
do think
Trump
it'll
doesn't
start to
like
fall
Donald
apart.
Trump Jr. or believe in it. Like there's no way.
Right.
Yeah, and then they were like, and then next is Eric, and Donald Trump was like, who?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And well, my favorite is they all talk about Barron. Like we've never even heard him speak. But he just by sheer virtue of the fact that he exists and that he's tall and not, doesn't look like a troll. He's the heir to the Trump throne. Like it's like I've never heard him speak, but they've already anointed him.
Yeah, I think that as awful as JD Vance is, and as much in Peter Thiel's pocket as he is, I think that he has such little charisma that it'll be better,
Right.
if that's the word.
Right.
I think his flag will automatically be at half mast when they get the JD Vance flag.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know this, but somebody told me the other day that MAGA likes Marco Rubio, that like they're into him now, which also shocks me because like who's flying a Marco Rubio flag? But they prefer him to JD Vance. I mean, I don't get that.
Yeah, but at the same time, like Rubio couldn't get elected president of an HOA. Like the only reason Rubio is still in any office is because he was appointed to one.
Yeah.
Like Rubio is so unlikable. And when he ran for president, he was polling at what, like 17%? Like he's not someone I'm worried about at all.
Wasn't he the one that got destroyed by Chris Christie on
Good
stage?
point.
Yeah, at that that debate, because he
That's a
kept
pretty
just
low bar.
repeating the same talking point over and over or something, and then you
Yeah.
like almost weirdly got locked into it, like he couldn't not say it or something. It was really, really
Yeah,
weird.
and now you watch him at these like dear leader cabinet meetings. Can we talk about these cabinet meetings? Like it's just pathetic. It's 3 hours of them filleting Donald Trump, who's like getting increasingly like more hunched as the thing went on. But Rubio, I don't think Rubio knows what to do because he doesn't want to do that shit. But like it's required at this point.
I mean, that's all they got left is people who would do that now, right? Like during the first Trump administration, there was still like, we heard a lot about it in like the January 6th, meetings or committee, all that. What do they call that? The hearings?
Hearings,
January
yeah.
6th hearings?
Trey, the witch hunt.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But we heard a lot about how like back then, that there was kind of two factions. There was like Team Sane and Team Crazy, like within the Trump administration. There were still some people left who were like somewhat competent bureaucrats or like had some integrity or whatever, and just like were Republicans and all that shit. But like, I mean, all of those people are gone now because it was made clear that, they realized that was their mistake, in having any sane people around. That was where they fucked up the first time.
Yeah.
So this time they're not allowing that. So it's just like, muling sycophants only. So yeah.
They say in every cabinet there are two wolves. That's just
What? One's calling the other crazy, and they're both in that crazy cabinet. You know they're crazy when somebody's like, that guy's crazy.
Right.
Well,
Well, that's
now
like Steve was saying earlier. That is another thing that you kind of you cling to sometimes when you're desperately searching for sources of optimism. Is that these people suck so much that they also hate each other. Like they're like there's so much infighting and stuff. And they don't get along, and none of them trust each other, and all that shit. And like, there's too many competing interests because, like, even with like the tariffs and stuff, I was like, you telling me that like Walmart is not pissed about this or whatever, and that they don't wield a ton of power, in this plutocracy and all of that shit, and or even big pharma versus, the amount of power they have to have versus RFK Jr. and all that stuff. And it's just like, they're just too chaotic and everything to be sustainable, hopefully, but I don't know.
Yeah. When you look at a cabinet and Linda McMahon is the smart one,
Yeah.
the person who thought AI was pronounced IE
or A1, wasn't it?
A1, was it A1? That's
Love
actually
their
somehow
steak
worse.
sauce, by the
Yeah.
way.
I upgraded her stupidity.
Well, speaking of infighting, today Cat Turd has weighed in on the Laura
God.
Loomer, Arby's in her pants, Marjorie Taylor Greene feud. Now Cat Turd
What was
has
this a
turned.
sentence that you just said?
Right.
How is this a real sentence?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like, this is the world that they are. And I honestly do think maybe the stupid and the crazy will save us. Maybe that is our only hope. But yeah, so Marge went out with Massey and Rokana yesterday with the Epstein survivors, and now Marge is a traitor. That is what they are calling her. She is Marjorie Traitor Greene, and it was because she stood with child sex trafficking survivors that she has betrayed the MAGA oath somehow.
Yeah, she's just supposed to never shut up about CrossFit, try to intimidate survivors of a school shooting, and cheat on her husband every 3 days. Like, that's what you do as a good person.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and now people are saying, well, it's admirable. At least Marjorie. It's like, we're saying she's admirable now. This is the bar.
Well, I'm not going to say admirable, but one thing I have always thought about her is that it's for real with her. Like, that's another thing I always think when I look at these people is like, some of them are just like full blown grifters, I think, who do not at all believe the shit they say. They just know that it behooves them. And then there are the like true believer, actual lunatics that they have. And from the very beginning, I've thought that Marge was the latter. And the thing about those people is they have their own like corrupted form of integrity or whatever, and that she just really is the way she appears to be, i.e., crazy as fuck, and that means she's harder to control and not as concerned with, knowing which way the wind blows inside the MAGA universe or whatever. So I don't know.
Well, according to her, Jews control that.
Right.
But I agree with you. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is truly crazy. I think Lauren Boebert is truly stupid, and I think Ted Cruz pretends to be both.
Right.
Like the most, I think the most hateful thing about Ted Cruz is that he actually is a very smart person.
Yeah.
And he sees the grift and he does it. And we saw this with a lot of them on January 6th, the night of January 6th, and some of them on January 7th. We're talking about, like, there's that clip of Lindsey Graham where he's just like, I'm done with this. This is too far.
Right.
Where they realized that, like, these useful idiots were going to kill them.
Right.
And they suddenly started showing their humanity again. And then I don't know what kind of compromat they have on some of these people, but then within 2 days, all back in line.
They just didn't have the like backbone to hold the line and make that amount to something. You know what I mean? There never was really any real accountability for January 6th. Like I know that many of them went to jail for a while before he let them all out, but like people at the top got nothing ever, and that's because of people like Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell and the rest of them that were there at the time. And so it's like, and then once that didn't happen, then I think they just felt like, oh, this is just the future now. Like the future of the American right is MAGA and Trumpism, and we can either like get on board or go home. And they obviously weren't going to leave. So, but
Yeah.
they could have
And
stopped it
there's
really right then, I think,
Yeah.
if they had, had some
yeah.
spine.
And if
Well,
Merrick
there's so
Garland
much.
had some spine too.
Yeah, like you can see the grift. You can see the people. So many of them are failed entertainers.
Mm.
So many, Ben Shapiro was a shitty screenwriter that never amounted to anything. So now he hates Hollywood. And
He's
Candace
a Batman
Owens
villain.
yeah, exactly. Candace Owens started as like a left-wing influencer and didn't get any traction and just completely flipped. And Kimberly Guilfoyle was married to Gavin Newsom.
Yep.
Like you
And on
see all of
Fox, yeah.
you see all of these people who are just like they tried they failed at what they wanted to do. And instead of taking any accountability whatsoever and going, well, maybe I'm not related to humanity. Instead, they were just like, oh, it's so much easier. Like if any of us today decided, you know what, we're gonna grift to the right, I think it would take about 2 or 3 weeks where, start just asking questions.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't see what the problem with hating people of other skin colors is, and just start that way. And then just within a couple of weeks, we would be embraced with open arms and selling 8 times as many tickets as we are now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such an easy grift. And so people who have no conscience will do that.
Yep. 100%.
I'd get a T-shirt press day 2.
Like, Brent, you got connections at the Trump store now, man.
The bad Trump store.
I know a guy, so
Yeah.
Well, Michael Knowles, by the way, who is very rabidly anti-LGBTQ, he was in a movie called House of Shades, shocker, where he has a gay love scene. Like to your point, Steve, you know what I mean? Like he didn't work out as an actor, so I guess he went and got the T-shirt. But yeah, I mean, it's so much of it is a grift. And we had one, Lindy Lee. I don't know if you guys know. I don't even like saying her name out loud.
Yeah.
I know her personally. I was on a live show with her, John Fugel sang, Stephanie Miller. Then as soon as it was over, she flipped just like that, and people believed it. And I'm just like,
yeah. What was the deal with that? Because I remember she used to like share my stuff and everything. We DM'd a couple times or whatever, but I never met her in person. But like, what was it about trans shit? Is what started with her, or what was it?
It was almost immediately after the election. She just came out and said, I have always said that, that Biden was too old. And then she said, they were pushing this abortion issue. They were pushing the trans issue. Honestly, things that were a complete 180 from anything she'd ever said before. I mean, she was a surrogate for Biden and for Harris. And, it was all a scam. Like all of it was a scam. But the right embraced her immediately. Immediately, she was on Fox, she was on Newsmax, OAN, all the things, like Chris Cuomo show.
I mean, that's part of our problem, though. Part of the problem on the left is that we have a purity test where people have to agree with us on every single thing.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with us on one issue, you're not part of us. However, on the right, if you agree with them on one thing, they're like, come on in, we need numbers.
Yep. Yeah.
And like instead, if someone disagrees with us on one thing, like I said this about Chappelle, like the idea that when the first time he made an anti-trans joke, it was tacky, weak, uninformed, which is nothing like any of his other material was. And so instead of us looking at that and going, well, he got one thing wrong, suddenly 1 million people were like, you should kill yourself. And no one will ever see 1 million people going, I'm a terrible person, and go, yeah, they make a good point. Like, we handled it wrong.
It's a thing of like, not to be the both sides guy, but both sides eat their own, but in different ways. Like the left will be like, oh, you got to say unhoused.
Yeah.
When really the sentiment is whatever you're talking about is sound. And then the right will be like, I'm the bigger supporter. I want more money. They would grift harder. So it is that.
I like the idea that on the left we're like, hey, I know where you're coming from, but you're supposed to say unhoused instead of homeless. And then on the
Mhm.
right, they're like, excuse me, but you didn't use any racial slurs.
Right. Yeah.
So
Right. Or excuse me, you stood with survivors who raped his
yeah,
children. I mean, this is
exactly.
yeah. How are you guys navigating the end of our long national nightmare that was the Cracker Barrel rebranding? Like, are you celebrating? That was
I tell
dark
you,
for a
I
minute.
didn't eat there one time during all of that.
Yeah, no,
Toughest 8 days of my life.
right. Yeah, no, obviously it's tough to see them, backtrack when it was such a major cultural victory for the American left, for Cracker Barrel to
Yeah.
change their logo in the first place. But yeah, I thought that was to me the idea that I don't know. There were so many things running through my head when all that was happening because it's like that there's still so many people out here apparently like in this version of America that think that there's this like crushing, wave of wokeism that's still just like forcing everybody to play by its rules. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, everything's got to be woke now. Woke's just like taking over America. And it's like in 2025, you think that? Like, it's the opposite. Like, you won. You fucking won. You flipped it. Like, it's going in the other direction now.
Mhm.
So, but even so, A, that, but B, even without that, the idea that Cracker Barrel specifically would have been like, well, if we don't succumb to the pressure of the woke mob, then we might not survive, is like insane to me. So, like, also, I thought that the rebrand sucked too, but it sucked in like a bland, soulless corporate in shitification type of way. But like, there was nothing woke about it. And so, like it did suck, but the idea that had happened because woke got to Cracker Barrel, whatever, is just so painfully fucking stupid to me the whole time, and and still is. But then whatever, they pressured them into it so they can celebrate another big victory or whatever the hell. But it's just all so dumb, man. And
It's the same.
no, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I've said enough. It's fine.
Well, I saw something the other day where people were posting about how like Target's value has dropped dramatically this year because people are boycotting it because it's too woke, and it's like, no, it's literally the opposite.
It is
that
the
happened.
opposite, exactly.
It's the opposite. It's the same way that people are like, look, gas prices are under $2, and then they can't post a picture of any gas station in the world,
Right?
Yeah.
where they're that low.
The Target thing, it's like that's the to the second point about Cracker Barrel, where it's like that's it. It depends on the company and the corporation and their demographics and shit. I think Target fucked up by trying to pander to the Walmart crowd, and then they pissed off their customer base, which is exactly what Cracker Barrel did when they, I think, accidentally appeared to be woke for a second. They pissed off the people that patronized them the most or whatever. So it's just like, I don't know. It's just all dumb. Nobody
also-
uses like context and nuance or any of that shit anymore. All that's dead.
Well, Cracker Barrel was losing money for like 7 years
Yes,
straight.
that too.
And so all of these people who are like, you're changing the Cracker Barrel that I used to go to and I haven't gone to for quite some time.
Right. Well,
Like they already lost money.
I think it probably was that, is that they were like, I think they were like, the younger generations and Zoomers and shit like that. Like, they're not interested in an old country store. They don't know what that is. They don't have nostalgia for that era of Americana or whatever. It doesn't appeal to them. So we're fucked in the long term if we don't try to like rebrand or shift. But again, there's nothing woke about that. They want like Zoomers in fucking rural Illinois going to Cracker Barrel. Like, you know what I mean? Not baristas and stuff. Like it was all just typical business bullshit. But just because of the way these people interpret everything, it automatically became woke.
I'm pretty sure they.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Steve.
Brent.
I was gonna say they the bottom line is money. They don't really care about
right
keeping the integrity of a train whistle.
Right.
They're gonna they're gonna make it look like Chuck E. Cheese if that's what's selling.
Mm-hmm.
And when you cater to 80-year-olds for 30 years,
right, that's
they
a problem.
might go away for a while. So and then the inside of Cracker Barrel looks like every shabby chic farmhouse TikTok I've ever seen. Like a lady will post that she hates the new Cracker Barrel, but then be standing in that kitchen with all the mugs on the back.
You're right. Yep.
It's
The small
it's
spoons.
yeah. I'm not saying anything that anybody's not said, but anything they don't like is woke.
Right.
So it's just a general term, and I would just say you don't like it, or you don't like change because you're scared because your grandpa's gonna die. You know?
Yeah. When you live off nostalgia, eventually you have to change your audience. Like the idea
Right.
that now in the greeting cards they're like, remember when the year you were born, 1998. It's just like you
Right.
can't. It's not history anymore. Like classic rock stations are playing Spin Doctors. Like the idea that they have to still cater to people who died 30 years ago. Like
They should have just bought the stuff from Fridays on the wall, and then I'd be like, "It's the skateboard from Back to the Future. That's my shit right there."
I worked at 2 Fridays actually, and a Bennigan's, which none of them exist anymore. But I'm going to thank you guys for giving me all this time today and let you go back to your lives, which are, I'm sure, very rich and nuanced and full of tremendous joy. But I have one request, is that if I knock on your doors again, you will come back and join me and make me laugh, because comedy, honest to God, it is probably the only thing that's keeping me even sane adjacent right now. And you guys are as usual killing it out there. So thank you for that. And thank you for being here today and for making me not have to do much of the talking and much of the laughing. But for real, this is, you're the heroes of this moment. No shit. Like, for real. I mean,
All
it's
right.
like not all yours were capes. Honestly, I'm serious.
What a sad world that is.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, though, making it keeps me not losing my mind all the time. So
Yeah, I love the idea. I'm like, I'll be right back. Let me go talk shit to a pediatrician about how much of a hero I am.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who I am, but I'm a hero. Thank you guys for joining me on the Siren podcast. Trey Crowder, Brent Terhune, and Steve Hofstetter, please come back. Please do this again. I would love that very much.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Come see
Good to
us
see
all on the
everybody.
road, everybody.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
where can folks find you so that they can go see your tour dates?
Well, mine's just TreyCrowder.com, TRAE Crowder.com for all my tour dates and stuff.
I'm at Cat Turd on Twitter. BrentComedy.com for my tour dates.
I'm at Steve Hofstetter on all social media except Twitter. That place is a cesspool, and I left it a long time ago.
Good.
But you're all touring right now? Is everybody touring right now?
Yeah, I've
All the
got
time.
All the time,
all the time.
perpetually.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Michigan and upstate New York coming up.
And
When
you're
you going to be in
coming-
upstate New York? Sorry, John, I know we're trying to
No.
end.
No.
Like 3-4 days. I'm doing Albany, Syracuse, and Buffalo.
I'm going to be
Where
there
are you there?
literally right after you. I get to Buffalo on the 11th, a week from today.
Oh my God, I get to Michigan on the 10th.
Yep. All right. Well,
I'll leave some flyers for you.
all right. Appreciate
Oh my
it.
God. Well, thank you guys. Honestly, thank you. This was awesome. I love laughing, and you guys definitely made me laugh. So thank you so much, and best of luck on the tour. I hope that I get to see some of you somewhere over here on the eastern half of the country at some point. All right. Well, that concludes this episode of the Siren Podcast. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, friends.
See ya.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Bye.
Bye.